Have you noticed Paralives has this habit where they take an existing feature and completely remix that feature to fit the Paralives aesthetic? I'm so obsessed with this constant habit of theirs and hope to see more of it. To have you understand just how obsessed I am, let's reflect on the social menu. The social menu that was present in all 4 Sims games, so iconic a version of it shows up in Enjoy. The option to select individual social interactions is reliable and recognizable to players. Only con is the amount of options can make it feel cluttered at times, but this familiar feature is easy to use and understand. Yet the developers said they'll take that easy to use and understand mechanic, simplify it, and add immersion. Instead of choosing a single social, we can now have a general conversation where we can set the mood and choose from the together cards to learn new info or change the dynamic of a relationship. Don't forget, this is a habit they have, so remixing staple features shows up in so many ways, like skills. They have recategorized each skill with a main skill, music, and added sub-skills based on specific hobbies, guitar, needs, which are now more of a suggestion in the Wants tab. This is genius to have the player focus on gameplay while keeping tabs on your pair's mood. Let me tell you, as someone who can't bear to have a need below the green, I'm thanking them for this one. And career progression. This is by far my most favorite way they remixed the old to create a new system. I made an entire video on how they reworked career progression to feel realistic and rewarding. This is probably one of the more fleshed out systems they revealed, and I can see why, because how do you add even more gameplay with rabbit holes? And you're telling me they plan to add active careers in the future? I'm not ready for this game, and I simply will never be. You know what I also noticed? When they choose to reinvent a feature, they often have a goal of making the feature simplified, realistic, with a homey feel. I think we've all collectively agreed this is the aesthetic of Paralives. Realistic themes grounded in a comfortable and soothing vibe. Understanding that their habit could be a signature method in developing gameplay, maybe this can clue us in on how they could apply this formula to other features. I had no choice but to speculate once I caught on to this. It's what's keeping me alive until December. Side note, can anyone else relate to the fact that the wait didn't feel so unbearable until we had a release date? If I thought these past 6 years felt long, now it feels like the next 6 months are going to last forever. It's fine, I'm fine, we're fine. A little dramatic, but we're fine. Since I figured out this formula on how they develop Paralives, I want to use it to speculate how this could look on other features. Quick disclaimer, this is just speculation. I don't expect to see any of these features anytime soon. And as I said in my last video, I'm perfectly fine with what's been confirmed to be coming in the early access release. Once the game is out, it's out. The wait might have seemed long, but we won't ever experience this time of excitement and anticipation again. So we might as well have fun with it while we can. To drag and highlight a group of paras to start a group activity is so practical, yet such genius. We saw a couple of new activities in the recent reveal, but this feature is showcased in the gameplay trailer. It seems as though you can just click, drag, and then choose an activity for the group. What we've seen so far, group conversations, if there's a level of multitasking that could be done on top of group combos, this would be so peak. Group workouts, which seem like we can do a range of floor workouts and jogging. What would be interesting is if we can go on group hikes or walks to a specific location. Cloud gazing. They set this up in a picnic setting. Functional picnics would be something I would never get sick of. Any excuse to break up the everyday routine would be a good one. I could be missing some group activities they snuck into one of the reveal videos or possible Patreon posts. If you caught something I didn't, please let me know because I'm so curious if there's more. What if this feature can be expanded? I would love to see clubs built off this mechanic. I didn't hate this feature in The Sims 4. Why not have a version of it in Paralives? Of course, if this is realized, it would go through the Paralives formula, make it simple, make it real, and make it cozy. I'm not a game developer, so my best guess in how this could work is maybe have a default group you can set up. They do plan to add calendars eventually, so maybe you could set a schedule at a regular hangout spot to do group activities. You could have a book club, a gardening club, even a kids club, which would be the cutest thing. A club or an expanded group system is such a great way to add limitless gameplay opportunities, so I would love to see this fleshed out. Gaining skills in Paralives is set up to be so addicting. In the gameplay overview, it's revealed each hobby will have a general knowledge skill. Gaining a point in a hobby like guitar will increase your music knowledge over time at a slower rate. This goes more in depth when you realize the higher your general knowledge, the faster you'll gain points in related skills. This is what the team does best with systems we're familiar with. They made it simple, made it real, and made it cozy. So far, we've only seen the music skill in action, but for a quick moment, in the gameplay trailer, you can see a couple of items under the hobby section. I'm guessing these could be linked to painting, logic, fitness, and this rug makes me hope someday down the line we see yoga. What if talents were incorporated with the skill system? Maybe it could be based on the pair's personality or quirk they have that could decide the talent. You know what would be good for gameplay? If there was a chance your pair could accept or reject this natural talent. They could use their talent for healthy purposes, or they can use it only for monetary gain. Or they could just completely ignore it, and that could add layers to the story you tell in your game. Literally, Paralives, put me on the storyboard. I'm here and I'm ready to work. Also, I have the feeling I didn't make this up. I can't remember if this was a past Patreon post or something that was considered before. If that's the case, I genuinely don't remember. This is just speculation. If talents were something to come in the game, that would be amazing. At this point, this should just be a Paralives tagline. Make it simple, make it real, and make it cozy. Because that's exactly what they did with needs and wants. I don't even have any examples on how this can be expanded. I just want to dive into the genius behind this choice. There's a Patreon post titled How Needs and Wants Work in Paralives. They pretty much confirm my theory of their development habit by stating, instead of having a list of need bars, your pairs will have a list of current thoughts. If they have a need that needs to be addressed, it'll show up in their wants list and vary based on the severity of the problem. Whoever pitched this idea, seriously, thank you. I have a terrible problem of micromanaging my Sims, and this will save me from reviving this problem in Paralives. Also, this system just makes sense because this is how it works in life. If you're hungry, you think about what's good to eat. If you're tired, you'll want to take a nap. And it gets even better than this. With simplifying needs and combining them with where we see wants and emotions, this creates flexibility of having custom needs that can be influenced by a pair's personality. Most of all, it grounds the game in realism, which will make it so easy to connect with your characters. The post continues to go into more details, so I suggest you read more. Crazy to think this was posted in 2023. After 2 years of development, I wonder what has come from this feature since then. And I think I lied about not having any speculation about needs and wants. The thought just occurred to me, if there were players who preferred to have that list of needs, maybe it could be interesting to have a cheat that shows a hidden stats menu. It could be where you see hidden traits and skills, overall stats of your para, and of course the needs list. The hidden menu cheat could even be a mod someone made. Even though I prefer the way needs are being handled as this feels realistic, I would use a cheat like that, just to keep tabs. Did anyone else notice this habit of theirs? I'm obsessed with how they're able to take existing concepts and make it simple, make it real, and make it cozy. I'm so for real, put it on a t-shirt, I need no commission. Diving into the development for Paralives and finding these hidden gems makes me think a development diary series would be everything I need after release. The Patreon is great, but I would love to know the minds behind Paralives because since the very beginning, they've accomplished being nothing but unique.